a certain principle that I find fascinating that I wasn't familiar with. And I want to know if you'd share that here, just because I think it's very interesting. We were talking about what happened in the Civil War.
I am part of a denomination called the Presbyterian Church in America, and we come out of the Southern Presbyterian tradition. And around the time of the Civil War, Southern Presbyterians developed a doctrine called the spirituality of the church. And I'm not the world's leading expert on this. I can point you to some folks who are, but um, it's so close to truth. Satan really deceives us, doesn't he? He often gets in there. I used to tell my kids when they were little, guys, when you're driving down the street, it's not like there's going to be this big fork in the road with Satan standing there saying, come this way, with a big sign that says, I'm Satan. And there's another fork. The other way is Jesus saying, come this way. Satan's too smart for that. He's subtle. He gets in there. He tricks people. And the Southern Presbyterians said, the church is fundamentally from another world. Christ says, my kingdom is not of this world. And the church, as an institution, ought to be primarily focused on articulating what the scripture says and not try to do all things in society. And so there was this sense of the church has a particular calling in society that's different from the calling of government, that's different from the calling of business, that's different from the calling of the family. And so it sounds a lot like Abraham Kuyper's sphere sovereignty kind of idea, that each social institution has its own role and its own calling. But then they kind of twist a little bit to say, because the church has its well-defined sphere, it should not be concerned with the things of this world. It should only be concerned with spiritual things. And as a result, you had people, elders and pastors who owned slaves who on Sunday morning would get up and preach the gospel of getting our souls saved and getting our souls beamed out of here to heaven. It's actually a Gnostic kind of thing, to be honest with you. And so you end up with a church that is only speaking to the spiritual dimension, to getting our souls saved, and isn't willing to speak to issues of social justice, isn't willing to speak to ethics in society as a whole. And it's a twist on sphere sovereignty that takes us down the wrong path of a church that's basically involved in owning other human beings, even as it's preaching the good news of the gospel in a limited sense. It's a mess.